Here we are with Jorge Sammour-Hasbun. Congratulations on United States Chess League Game of the Year award. $1,000 in the bank. Now you've had a little time to reflect on the Game of the Year and your competition. Do you think your game was a worthy winner?
Well, I was just happy I got dominated out of the top best games in the league. I mean, if you look at the opening quite closely, I was not definitely in good shape in that game.
Yeah, you seem to have a bad position out the open, and then the knight sacrifice on e5, and you seem to be struggling for a little while.
You know, it's funny though, because after he actually sacrificed knight on e5 in the main position, I started realizing that I wasn't going to be able to castle anymore, either on the queen side or on the king side. And like 3 hours previous to that game, I remember I was actually in a class with the kids in one of the schools, and I was I was telling the kids that they have to castle, they have to develop their pieces and they have to castle, and that I didn't want to see any of them playing a game without castling. And 3 hours later, there I find myself, and I remember that the kids said, "Okay, we're gonna watch your game online tonight," and I say, "Oh my God!" I say, "Here it goes," and I mean, quite frankly, I think it was just a scary moment, big time.
Towards the end of the Game of the Year voting, was you continuously checking the US Chess League website, and did you take an interest in the other games?
I did actually, and I actually thought that there were a lot of games that were quite interesting. Burnett had a fantastic game in the Pirc. Marcelo Martinez had a fantastic novelty with Bishop h6 and Lopez. Larry had an excellent game against Wolf. There were really a lot of games, and I think that when you actually start looking at these games, you don't really think, or at least you don't hope that your game is going to win. But I guess, it's one of those things that it's really tough to judge your own games and to see how really good they are.
Did you look at the second game?
Well, I did see that. I started checking the website when they had the first top 20. And then I think for 6 weeks in a row, they predicted that my game was going to be the next one eliminated. So quite frankly, when you read that, the first thing that comes to your mind, okay, let me switch to a better website. And I don't know, it's interesting because I was actually reading yesterday that at first they gave me 41 odds to win the best game of the year. So...
yeah. And with you sat there on the left, David Harris, continual fan of the Blitz throughout the year, and now successful venture, hopefully with the Blackstone Chess Academy in Rhode Island.
And here we are at the Blackstone Chess Academy.
And David, what were your thoughts on the Blitz season?
Well, I thought it was an incredible season, a bit disappointing at the end, but it was hard fought, and sometimes that's the way things turn out. They got nothing to be sorry for. And Jorge's games were excellent examples of fighting chess.
Definitely. And one last question, Jorge, to you. Given that you won the Game of the Year, would you willingly sacrifice the Game of the Year prize for the Blitz to have won the championship?
Absolutely. Having the best Game of the Year doesn't really means much compared to the championship. I think, when you play in a team tournament, I think that's what a team is all about, is finding a way for you to, to come in agreement with the team that you want to win every match. I think, as a matter of fact, I think all the members of the Blitz, we were aware that if by any chance one of us thought that let's say War 1 was winning, then the rest of us were going to be very careful not to risk, because the idea was just to win the match 2.5 to 1.5. I mean, I do know for a fact that in the last game, Larry almost got a heart attack. You know, when my opponent played knight takes to e5, because and I think Ilya Krasik and I think you yourself, I think everybody was really worried after knight takes e5.
I had faith in you.
Did you?
I had faith.
That's what he said after I won the game. But no, I think after I took on you, after he sacrificed knight on e5, I think one of the things that quite worried me the most was the reaction of my teammates, because I think at that point, you know, none of their games was concluded, and I think a lot of them started feeling the pressure, because I think a lot of them felt that I was going to lose. No, I think, you know, winning the game of the year is quite an honor, but, you know, Boston Blitz rules, you know, until we have the Blackstone Chess Academy team.
Plug for a Rhode Island team there, I think.
Yeah.
Well, congratulations on your Game of the Year award, and we'll see you on the Blitz team next year.
Absolutely.